As an electric guitar player playing in worship music, I found that dynamics are incredibly important in helping convey the message of the songs that we're playing. For me, one of the best ways to be a dynamic player is with the use of overdrive pedals. So today we're going to be looking at how you can easily get some really great overdrive tones. Before I get too far along, a lot of this video is actually going to be based on what I talked about in my last video, where we talk about how to get a really great clean tone. So if you missed that one, make sure you check that one out first. So when it comes to overdrive and dynamics, something that a lot of people do is organize different overdrive pedals into gain stages. And the idea is just that each gain stage is putting more overdrive into your signal. So for my stage 1 overdrive, which is going to be my lightest drive, I'm using the JHS Ruby Red, which is actually a 2-in-1 pedal. So the left side is the JHS Superbolt, and the right side is a boost. And I'm actually not sure if it's the Prestige Boost or the Bomb Boost by JHS. It's one of those two. If you know, jump down in the comments and let me know, because I still don't know, but it sounds great. But just for right now, we're gonna focus on the Superbolt side, so just that left stage 1 overdrive. So for me, it's important that my first stage overdrive sounds like my amp, but just a little bit more. So a little bit more volume, a little bit more gain, just a little bit more character, so it's starting to feel more alive. So this is how the Superbolt sounds as my stage 1 overdrive. So you can hear, it really sounds a lot like my clean tone, sounds like my amp, just a little bit more. There's a little more volume going into it, a little bit more drive. If I dig in, there's a little bit more breakup there, but if I really back off in my playing, it's really gonna clean up nicely. So I would use this pedal for more of a low-key, cleaner part where I just don't really need to jump out too much in the mix. It kind of does that sparkly, nice, pretty thing, which is perfect for your stage 1 drive because we're just gonna get louder from here. Also notice the EQ. I'm really not making any sweeping changes. That's one thing that I'm really shooting for as I'm moving through my gain stages. I just want it to sound natural. I don't want to engage the next gain stage and then all of a sudden there's this huge EQ change. Maybe it's super bright, maybe it's super dark. I really try to make it kind of this linear path that makes sense, where it's staying pretty consistent as you move through each stage. So moving on to my stage 2 drive, I'm using the Benson preamp, which is personally my favorite pedal. I love this thing because you can dial it in to get really any kind of overdrive sound. If you dial the gain back a lot, it gets that kind of transparent, pretty thing, similar to how I have the Superbolt dialed in. But as you turn that drive up, it gets nasty pretty fast. So it's great as kind of that medium thick overdrive, which is how I'm using it. But as you turn that up more, it really just sounds like an amp that you've cranked to 10. So super fun pedal. In this video, you're just gonna be hearing it in that medium overdrive range. But if you guys are interested in seeing a video just on the Benson, I would be more than happy to make that. So if you're interested in that, jump in the comments and let me know. Anyway, like I said, I have this dialed in as kind of that medium, thicker overdrive. It's similar to the Superbolt, but like I said earlier, I like to kind of move through my stages in a linear fashion that makes sense. So it's gonna have a little bit more gain, a little bit more volume, not really any big sweeping changes with the EQ. I just want it to be similar to what I had with the Superbolt, but just more, something that'll help me stick out just a little bit more. I also want to mention that I'm not stacking this with the Superbolt. Another way that you can move through your gain stages is actually stacking each pedal on top of each other. Personally, I don't do that, but more on that later. So here's what the Benson sounds like as my stage 2 drive. So we're definitely kind of leaving that pretty sparkly territory and getting more into that thicker rock tone. Honestly, I probably use this pedal 70% of the time when I'm playing at church. The thing that I like about it so much is how dynamic it is. So I was really digging in when I was just playing then, so it definitely sounded pretty heavy, but if you roll the volume off and just play a little bit lighter, it can get pretty clean. So you can leave this pedal on and get a whole variety of tones out of it. So before I jump into my stage 3 overdrive, I do want to say that you can really accomplish everything that you need from a stage 1 and a stage 2 overdrive. It's nice to have more options, but really that jump from a stage 1 overdrive to a stage 2 would pretty much give you everything that you really need to have when you're playing worship music. For me, I wanted to have a third stage that just got even more heavy compared to the Benson. So my stage 3 overdrive is the JHS Kilt version 2. And again, I sound like a broken record, but I'm just dialing this in to give me a little bit more than what I already have. So a little bit more volume compared to the Benson, a little bit more drive. I hope you're starting to see the trend now that starting with my clean tone, stage 1 overdrive, stage 2, stage 3, is a very linear path that just makes sense. There can definitely be a tendency to overthink this stuff, but honestly, it's as easy as it sounds. It's really just starting with a really strong, good, clean tone or core tone, and just building off of that with these gain stages. So this is how I have my stage 3 drive set. So honestly, I don't really use this pedal all that much. It gets a little bit too heavy for me, but there are some times where I just need a little bit more and I just need that extra stage to kick on. But I actually really like to use this pedal for more rhythm sort of things. Sometimes if you're playing a song that maybe has like something on the low E string, just kind of a single note part, it can be really great for that sort of thing. Now at the very end of my drive chain, I have my boost, which I mentioned before. It's either the Prestige boost or the Bomb boost by JHS. Not really sure, but it's in this ruby red right here. And like I mentioned before, I don't really stack pedals together. That's because I like to use each of my gain stages as kind of its own core tone. And then when I need to jump out for a lead section or something just a little bit extra, I will throw on this boost on top of whatever gain stage I'm already on. So it's super important for me to have this boost at the very end because I like to add that on top of what's already there, just adding more volume to that drive pedal. And it starts to do this magical thing where that increase in volume gets you more of that pedal that you're already hearing, but it's also starting to saturate your amp as well as your wet effects. So everything is kind of coming together, saturating some more, and it really comes together to give you that kind of wall of sound, gnarly thing that just sounds really, really good. So real quick, I'll start with my stage 1 and just go through my gain stages, and I'll add that boost on so you can hear what it sounds like with each gain stage. And here's just kind of a classic example of what I would probably do on a Sunday. I'll add in a little bit of reverb and delay, and I will start with my Benson, and then I will add on the boost like I'm going into a lead section. So now we're beginning to dabble a little bit in reverb and delay, and I actually have a full video right over here going into depth on how to dial that in well for worship music. So if you're interested in that, click on it right here and I will see you over there.